Hi everybody, it's Dog Trainer Meg. I've got a little bit of a cold, so everything I say is gonna kind of end in a Today we're talking about conditioned relaxation. Um, it's a very important topic that I discuss with most of my clients, if not all. Um, in a nutshell, conditioned relaxation is the ability to take our dogs from an elevated state of mind to a more calm cognitive state of mind. And ideally, we should be able to do that with our dogs at any point, no matter what's going on. And in order to do that, we have to practice it, just like anything, any skill we want to be better at. Um, and we want to practice it with our dogs when they're already more likely to be calm, so that we can set them up for success. Anytime we teach a dog a new behavior, we kind of want them to do it almost by accident. Reward them, reward them, reward them for it, and then add a cue word to it or a marker so that we can ask for that behavior. And then we start to expand the behavior and the knowledge that the dog has for the behavior by adding in distractions or distance or duration. So conditioned relaxation, if you think of your dog's energy, this is Daisy, by the way, she's a puppy, a Labradoodle puppy. If you think about your dog's energy at any given point as a spectrum, maybe from 0 to 10, let's say. 0 would be your dog is sleeping. 10 is that's the red zone. Our dog is blowing up at something or lunging, barking, going out of their mind, past the point of being able to self-regulate and needing help from us. So, Daisy right now is playing tug, which I will talk about in another segment, because tug is an excellent, excellent relationship building game to play with your dog, and it's very connected with the conditioned relaxation and mastering that with your dog. It gives us the ability to get our dog's energy up on that spectrum. So Daisy's playing, she's not going at it completely, but she's excited. So maybe, I think for her this is maybe like a 4 or a 5 on that spectrum. I'd say more like maybe 4, because she's like, this is fun, but she's not really giving it her best shot. So in order to, if we're teaching conditioned relaxation, and like I said, that's where we kind of reel in our dog, connect with them, and gently insist that they become calm or get lower on that spectrum of elevation. And the way we do that is teaching our dogs to yield to pressure. I'll talk about pressure in other videos as well. If you've taken a basic obedience course with me, we discuss pressure a lot. We mostly focus on it. Whoops, Daisy lost a tooth there. All right, we'll save that for later. Super. Let me take a peek at that. We're back. Daisy had lost a baby tooth while we were playing tug just then, and that's another great reason to play tug with your puppy. They have all these teeth that they want to lose. As long as you're playing gently and moderately, little teeth that want to come out will kind of pop out there. Again, just making sure you're gentle. So with conditioned relaxation, if we're teaching it from scratch, we want to be able to have our puppies, we're going to have her on leash. She's on a slip lead right now, just because her collar is a little bit big, and I don't have a smaller collar for her on hand right now. So she's on a slip lead so that if I put pressure on with the collar or with the leash, she's not going to be able to back out of that and say like, oh great, anytime I want to get out of this pressure thing, I just weasel out of my collar, and that's great for me. So that's definitely a self-rewarding behavior that we don't want to happen. So Daisy right now wants to play, so this is kind of it'll be a good example, I have a feeling, of what you might be dealing with your own dog if your dog is kind of resistant to being calm. One of the first things you'll want to teach your dog is a pressure sit, which I explained in another video, and a pressure down, and ideally your dog knows down before we do this. So teaching your dog how to sit and how to down, and then teaching them how to do that with a bit of pressure from the leash or on their collar. So I've got Daisy here, and she's got a toy. I'm going to kind of ask her to out this toy by holding the toy on either side of her mouth, saying, bringing that toy kind of close to my body and saying, out. Yes. So as soon as she lets go of that toy, I'm going to kind of chuck that over there. I'm going to ask Daisy to sit using a little bit of pressure, and I don't have cookies on hand right now. We don't want to use cookies for this. Cookies tend to add to that excitement. I'm kind of gently insisting, so I'm using a little bit upwards pressure. If your dog fights pressure, just hang on to that pressure. Don't say, oh, you look like you're having a hard time, let me loosen up on that pressure. All that does is teach your dog, okay, I just need to act wily and act a little bit resistant, and that pressure comes off of me. So try to be conscious of how much pressure to use with your dog so that you start off with the right amount. So if I started out with too much pressure, my dog is going to usually have that reaction. So try to use the least amount of pressure that possible, but enough to get a response. So again, I'm kind of reeling her in here. We're insisting, like, yes, you need to come over to front of my body and sit down. So she's in a sit. I'm going to use a little bit, get her into that sit. Use a little bit downwards pressure to get her into a down. As soon as she goes down, I'm releasing that pressure. As soon as I feel her body moving towards the floor, not even necessarily going all the way down, I'm going to release the pressure because we're just starting out here. So I've got downwards pressure on her collar, or on her slip lead, I should say. Got a little bit of counter. My hand is on her back. Yes, right there. So I'm releasing the pressure. I'm rubbing her body to kind of release that pressure. I'm going to go ahead and release her. Break. And you can go get that toy. So we're just teaching our dog that when you feel this pressure on your body, move away from it and the pressure gets released. So if your dog is highly resistant to that, you might spend time right here just teaching your dog. You don't wiggle around if when I put this pressure on, that doesn't make the pressure go away. Moving away from the pressure makes the pressure go away. So we might spend time with that with your dog here, if that's what you're at. So grabbing Daisy again. I'm gonna kind of lure her over here with this toy. I'm gonna ask her to release the toy. She got distracted. Chucking the toy away. I'm reeling her in. She doesn't want to. She's not really like compliant. And that's okay. That's what we want to kind of teach. So I just did a pressure sit. I'm asking her to go into a down position. So teaching conditioned relaxation, and if you've got a leash chewer, pressure on the leash, pressure on, pressure on, pressure on until she stops biting, and release the pressure as soon as she lets go of the leash. Pressure on, and release. So part of conditioned relaxation is getting our dog into a position, into a body position that allows calm to happen. And our dogs can achieve calmness much easier in a down position, in a position where they're laying down, and we're not chewing on hands. So if we're doing some chewing on the leash or on the hands, upwards pressure until they stop, and release the pressure as soon as they stop. So we're using that pressure as a little bit of a So pressure on means you need to change or fix something. Pressure off means you're correct. So I'm kind of scooping her up over here, getting her back into a sit. Our ideal body position is, this is what we call a Sphinx style down, where she has elbows and hips kind of parallel on the floor there. But what we're looking for is that she's on her side, all 4 feet are touching the ground, and she's just popping back up after she lays down. And now she's chewing the leash, so I'm putting pressure on. And I'm following her body until she releases that pressure. Until she releases the leash, I should say. Asking her to go into a down position. We're not chewing the leash. So this is a Sphinx style down. She's nice and calm. She's not chewing the leash. I'm going to release her. Good job. Okay. So our ideal body position is laying on their side. They're all 4 feet touching the ground. Their head is touching the ground. Their tail is touching the ground, and they're very relaxed. So we're working towards that. What I'm asking right now, my goal with Daisy is to get her into a sit, get her into a Sphinx style down with hips and elbows parallel, and asking her waiting for her not to be chewing on the leash or mouthing or chewing my hand like most puppies do. And when we get that brief moment of where she's just sitting there calmly, I'm going to release and reward. Each time we do this a session, I'm expecting a little bit more each time. So I'm going to expect maybe having her let me begin to roll her onto her side at this point. So let me get this toy out of here. Daisy, good girl. I have her by her collar right now. Getting her into a sit. But I'm not really bothering with asking her verbally to do these things. I'm putting pressure on her body and expecting her to respond that way, because that's important as well. So she's in this nice Sphinx style down. This is beautiful. She's not mouthing or biting. Now I'm going to kind of this is going to be difficult to capture at this angle, I believe, but nice. You see how she put her head down just then? That's a good time to release and reward. Good job. Break. Get. Go find that toy. Go find that toy. Get it. So anything your dog does in the direction of becoming more calm, that's a great opportunity to release and reward. So I'm not rewarding her with treats. I'm just rewarding her with a break, with the ability to go sniff something or play with something, and working from there. Conditioned relaxation is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something you teach your dog very quickly. It's something that you develop over their lifetime, to be honest. So it's something you should always work on. It's something you should work on daily. And you both get better at it as you work. So, and every dog's different as to how long it takes for them to achieve a milestone or a goal.